everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I am super excited to announce that this video has been sponsored by onlinelabels.com, my very favorite label company to use. And the sponsorship couldn't have come at a better time because you guys have been asking about packaging, labeling, branding, what types of labels I use, how I use them, how I print them, and all of that. Today I'm going to be addressing some of those questions. And also another question that you guys have been asking me a lot about is how I go about testing candles. So I mentioned in the other candle tutorial video that I did about every time you do something different with a candle, because it is science, candle making is a science, you have to test every product that you make. Especially if this is something that you're considering selling. You know, if it's just for your house or whatnot, it doesn't really matter if you do test burning, but if you want a good quality candle that you feel good about selling, you should always test burn every product that you make before you put it out there to the public. So today I am actually testing a new fragrance oil for me that I have never put in candles before. So I'm going to take you through that process, but also I'm going to show you, assuming I've never used this certain type of jar, how I go about doing all of that. So the first thing that I do is I use a very small quantity of wax. When I test burn products, I always only use 1 pound of wax. That is the weight that I feel comfortable with when I'm doing testing for products. It's easy. It's an easy ratio to work with. I know exactly how much fragrance oil per pound. On each fragrance oil, we'll have a recommendation per type of wax you're using. So if you start with the information that the manufacturer gives you regarding how much fragrance oil should be used in a certain type of wax, that would be a great starting point. So that's what I usually do. Today I'm going to be using the same type of wax that I used in my candle tutorial, which is the Joy Wax. Now, you always want to go ahead and test the diameter of your jar that you're using, because every wick is specific to the diameter of your jar. I did a little bit of talking about that in the other video, so if you want a specific tutorial on that, go ahead and check out that video. But you're going to start with their recommendations. So I am using the CD12 wick from Nature's Garden Candles today because it is recommended for the Joy Wax that I'm going to be using, and it is also recommended for medium-sized jars that are above 3 inches in diameter. So the widest part of my jar is the same all the way around. In this case is about 3 1/4 inches. So I'll be using the CD12 wick, and this one I know is a good size for this one because I've used it lots of times, but this is how I would go about doing it even if I didn't know. I would just go and check all the specs right there on the website about what type of wick to use per diameter, what kind of wax it's recommended for. That is your starting point. And then if you test burn it, you can go back and make different little tweaks to it if you didn't like certain things about it. So that's a good starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and use the CD12 in this one, which is the 16-ounce straight-sided glass jar from Uline. And I'm going to be using the CD7 wick for the 8-ounce, which has a smaller diameter. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is cut my wax. So I'm using just 1 pound, which I've already weighed out. I'll go ahead and cut that up for you. And put it into, I've got a little pour pitcher here that I've actually had for probably 18 or 19 years. It's very worn and very loved, and it still works. So we still use it for testing purposes. So I'm just cutting my Joy Wax into chunks. This type of wax comes in a slab, so you do have to cut it up. Okay, and there I have it all cut up and in the container. And I'll go ahead and melt this down. I'll take you over and show you that process. Okay, I'm over here at the stove and I'm gonna be melting down this wax over direct heat on very, very low temperature, the lowest temperature setting. When you're first learning how to make candles, you should definitely use a double boiler method so you don't get too hot on your wax, but I do use a digital thermometer and I will be standing here babysitting it the whole time. So let's go ahead and get started. The directions say that you are able to add your fragrance oil in the 170 to 175 range, and we're sitting at 172. So I'm going to go ahead and add my fragrance oil for 1 pound. Because I've used this wax before, I'm going to go ahead and add in my 1.5 ounces of fragrance oil. This did take some testing, but since I already know my starting point for this wax is 1.5 ounces. If it was a new wax to me, I would definitely be going exactly off of the manufacturer's directions. But I am going to be trying 1.5 ounces of the fragrance oil of my choice right into the 1 pound of Joy Wax. And you want to give it a really good stir. Make sure you're kind of scraping the sides of your container, getting it all incorporated into the melted wax. Now, the type of fragrance oil I'm using is a very warm vanilla type fragrance. It smells to me a lot like Cadbury mini eggs, which is my very favorite Easter candy. That's what this one smells like to me. So I'd love to see how it's going to perform in the candle, since I've never used this type in the candle before. So this will be a really good test for me as well. Okay, so you're just going to continue to stir until it's all incorporated. I'm going to take my temperature. By this type of wax, a recommended temperature to pour at. So we're ready to go. Now, I'm not adding any color to this wax because I just want to test how this fragrance performs in the wax. And if I add color to it and then something doesn't go right with the burn, I'm not going to know if it's the color of the fragrance or the wick. So the first thing I do is just test the fragrance. That way I can take notes on exactly how the fragrance performed, and then the next time I do it, if I want to add color, I can add color and see how that works. So we're just going to add in to my little jar here. I'm going to go ahead and pour. So this just is going to turn white because I'm not adding any color here. This is going to just cure totally white candle, which probably looks good for this fragrance anyway. And it didn't quite fill completely the little 8-ounce container, and I knew that it wouldn't all the way, but that's okay because this is just, again, for test purposes, and it's, you know, a little over halfway here filled, but it's just for testing purposes, so it's okay. I'm going to be bringing it in my house to test the wick size and the fragrance and all of that. So there's that. It's all poured, and I will bring you back when we're ready to do a test burn and talk about some of those labeling questions that you had. Okay, so we're getting ready to do the test burn on the 16-ounce and the 8-ounce candle, but before we do the test burn, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the type of, we just print the candle labels off right at home. Some of the other labels that we print off are made for laser printers, which I don't own a laser printer, so I just take it down to my local print shop. Like my shower gels are laser printed, lotions right there, sugar scrubs, we take you over here. Body butters, we use the laser printed labels because your hands get greasy when you use these products, and then what happens when you use the laser print is it won't rub off. The stuff won't rub off of your label. Even same when you're using the sugar scrub and you take it into the shower, it doesn't run off, it sticks on. What we do is create a really professional looking product. So there was a while there where we had a really good product, but the packaging and labeling did not match the quality of product. So it was hard for customers to see what a great product we had. And so this has helped for branding purposes tremendously, because I can make all of my labels uniform and I can put the logo right up on front and the name of the product right up on front, and it's just helped so much with all of that. So now I really feel like when you look at the product and you pick it up and you use the product, the packaging and labeling is putting across what we want it to put across, the feeling that it gives you and the type of product that you're using and the quality of product. It all makes a big difference, packaging and labeling. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take you over to the computer and show you how we design the labels for the 16 and the 8-ounce of choices. You can shop by label size, material, and category. And we just go right into the design center when we make our labels. When you buy labels from Online Labels, you get access to the Maestro Design Center, where you can just pull up any type of label that you want to use. In this case, we're pulling up the 16-ounce jar candle label that we use. And on the grid, it'll pull up one logo, one label we want. So we're going to go ahead and pull my logo design right to the center of the label. And then we put the name of the product right underneath of it. In this case, we're calling it, just for this video purposes, we're calling this Your Favorite Easter Candy. So one of the other great things is you can save everything that you work on. And you can pull up a template, you can pull up an old label design and just change the name on it. And that way you don't have to recreate the whole thing. So this has just been really user-friendly and professional. We haven't had any issues with formatting. The templates are great, and you can pull up any size and type of label that you like to create a unique product. Jar candles. All right, the labels have been printed off, and this is the 16-ounce, and here is the 8-ounce. We're gonna go ahead and label the candle, and then I'm gonna leave you with a time lapse of how this candle does the test burn. So all we do is just line it up and stick it on there, and you have a very professional, clean looking candle. There's the 16. I just love how it fits perfectly. It fits just the way you want it to. And then here is the 8-ounce. Okay, there you have it. So we're gonna go ahead and do our test burn, and I'll leave you with that today. So catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share.